Natalie, tell everyone how you came to be doing the activism work you're doing.
My journey started almost 9 years ago when my daughter was born. She was born with deformities and medical issues. We didn't know if she would survive. I remember being in the NICU with her and making that decision that I had to fight, and I was going to fight for her life no matter what it took. She's had 22 surgeries. She has tremors, seizures every day. She struggles, but she's the most positive and sweet little soul, and she inspires me every day. I've had to learn to fight for her life. My advocacy started for her. She can't walk, talk, or do things for herself, so I am her voice. One of the things that I've had to fight, I went 27 years without experiencing discrimination. I was able to blend in. And when I took my baby out, people were cruel and people would discriminate against her. That was one of my most painful experiences, and I would say that almost destroyed me. And up until 18 months ago, that was the one thing I still continued to struggle with, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, but I was so private and I almost would hide away so that I wouldn't experience that pain. 18 months ago, my state decided to reduce services for medically fragile children. We have private insurance, but we also rely on Medicaid because of the costs to care for a child like Sophia are extreme. She has Medicaid, and this program was going to reduce services for these children by up to 70%. That would put my child's life at risk. So I did the one thing that I feared the most, and I went on the news and I shared my Sophia with the world. And that moment liberated me, and I no longer was afraid of what anyone thought, what anyone said. It still hurts, I still get hate, but I fight through it, and I'm getting better at it. So we fought, I along with 2 other moms, and within 6 weeks we stopped our state from reducing services for medically fragile children. I honestly never believed that I could make such a difference. And when I realized I could, I knew my life was changed forever. I put my fears aside. I put my pain aside. It didn't matter anymore what I felt. What mattered was protecting people's lives. And then the health care bill, the federal health care bill. I've been fighting that for 7 months from 5 a.m. until I fall asleep at night. So I had to get even more public, and I learned how to edit videos and share our story. I learned how to use Twitter, and I was blasting Sophia out to the world. I felt our story could inspire people to call and to ask their senators to oppose this bill. And then I was called, can you please come to DC and speak at a press conference, give a speech with 5 U.S. senators? And I said yes, terrified, but I didn't care about my feelings anymore. I was fighting for the most vulnerable, the people without a voice. And I continued to fight, and I spoke at an Our Lives Matter rally in DC again. And now I'm here, and I am speaking up. I was silent for far too long, and I'm here to say it only takes one person to make a difference.
Wow, thank you. And let's say you too have had a moment of thinking about engaging more deeply in activism. I want to dive into what it looks like. You had the moment, you decided you were going to do it despite all the risks. Then what? What did you actually do? What were the new tools, the people you reached out to? Natalie, can you kick us off by what were the things you learned in your transition to becoming more active?
Well, I too avoided politics. I wanted nothing to do with it. But I had to learn to push, to be more aggressive. I was able to get a meeting with my senator. I had to learn to speak to him. I had to learn about health care, which was a foreign language to me. I had to learn Twitter. I've only been using Twitter maybe a year. It was foreign to me. In the past, I said, what is this? I don't understand it. I had to learn.
That's still how most people feel. It's okay.
I had to learn how to film and edit. I had to make content so that I could share our story. I also had to learn that people might not really care what I have to say or care about my story. I actually learned to reach out to celebrities and that they had a reach and that people value what they say and they will listen. But I've had to learn all of this from scratch within 18 months. And I've learned that I will not give up. And if you want to fight for something, you do whatever it takes.
How? Were there organizations that were helpful to you, networks, or did you really was this a lot of Googling?
I joined a committee in North Carolina to protect health care. I met some amazing groups, Moms Rising, and they're the ones who actually sent me to DC for the first time. I would follow my healthcare guru, Andy Slavitt. He was the head of Medicaid under Obama. You follow the people that are experts. And that's how I would learn, and that's how I kind of got into that world.
So you didn't have to reinvent the wheel. That's
No.
good to know. Natalie, your recommendations, what you think are useful first steps if you want to take that next step?
Well, I think about myself before I started to advocate. It's so easy to say, I'm too busy, or, wow, I feel really bad about that situation, but what can my voice do? It's really not going to make a difference, but I think you need to know that your voice makes a difference. Even supporting the people that are out there fighting their causes makes a difference. Sharing their stories and just going out there, make the call to the senators and doing things. You have to actually go out and do things. And I saw a quote recently from Martin Luther King that says, "There comes a time when silence is a betrayal." And it hit me hard. So many people are silent, even in my world, friends, family. They don't speak up, even for my daughter. So please, speak up, get loud. Don't be afraid what other people think, and go out there and do things and fight for other human beings. It's the most important thing we can do in this life.